the threats they pose. But football's a game of two halves, literally. To a degree, we've got to be solid on in our end, but to have any chance, we need to go forward, and that's what I'm getting from this. Obviously, I'm keen to see if it goes into a back four as well at some points. But for me, it's lovely. Gabriel's good on the ball. Tierney's a left-sided centre-half. I'd assume he'll peel out. Bukayo Saka, what he gives us down that left-hand side. You've got Xhaka and Ceballos who've been playing well in the middle. William's got a chance today, and he's got to show Arteta you're right for backing him, because it's going to get to the point now. William, based on the last couple of games, you haven't been justifying to start, but he's kept faith in you. So I want to see a positive performance from William in particular. The same goes for Pepe. There's been times where we thought you would start. You've got a chance. Give an account of yourself. Make sure that, when our next game is against Leicester or Man United, I believe, when Arteta sits down and plans that game, you're the first name on the team sheet. Obviously, I'd assume, and I say assume because we don't know, because it seems Aubameyang is resigned to the left-hand side for the rest of his Arsenal career. But it seems that Aubameyang's playing through the middle. Obviously, in the second half of our previous game against Sheffield United, that's exactly what you guys saw, people. So for me, it screams attacking. It screams going forward. It screams, let's try do this zip, two-touch passes and whatnot. A bit in regards to players left out, we've got a strong bench by Arsenal standards. The main man, the star man, Partey's on the bench, 45 million. We hope he plays some part. Lacazette could feel hard done by, because it is a tactical decision. He's gone without you, and you've got 3 and 3 is unfair. And Ketty is, doing his thing for England. Maitland-Niles hasn't started, so Saka's got the nod. And the biggest call for me is probably David Luiz. Now, one thing I like about Arteta, he recognizes it's a squad game. It's a bit like Pep. Pep values players, and certain players play week in, week out. But at the same time, he switches it up. And I like how Arteta doesn't have allegiances per se, apart from, ironically, Xhaka. And I don't even think, did he start against Liverpool? I don't think so. So it goes against it. Now, I don't want to draw any conclusions on David Luiz, people. 1 second, people. Admittedly, this is poor for me before I continue, purely because it's going to sound bad, but I want to make this. I want to get a stream going. What's going on? Okay, cool. 1 second, people. I apologize. Add stream marker. Okay, let's go. As I was saying, people, the biggest question mark for me is not playing David Luiz, because I look at it. Don't draw too many conclusions, because a half-fit David Luiz, forgive me if I'm wrong, started in the Community Shield against Liverpool and played quite well, and he's been called upon. So let's not draw any conclusions. One thing I like about Arteta is he values every member, but when he has a game plan, certain man might not be out the team. So I know a lot of people, we all say David Luiz is his guy. He got a new contract and all of that sort of stuff, people. It screams that Luiz is going to be here. He could even get another year. So I don't want to draw too many conclusions. Luiz is on the bench, so I think he's fully fit, but at the same time, there could be a knock. But I do think it's a big call. Not that David Luiz is a brick in defense or anything. Not that I'm angry that David Luiz isn't there. I wouldn't say I'm happy, because I was saying to start David Luiz. I'm not exactly upset. I don't mind it. It's a big opportunity. You've got Tierney. We know what Tierney gives us in that regards. You've got young 22-year-old Gabriel, who the last big game against Liverpool in the league, we wanted him to start. Big vote of confidence. And Rob Holding, he hasn't really done anything to warrant losing his place in the side. And obviously with Luiz coming in, he came out. He's got an opportunity. And I feel Gabriel and Holding, they've played enough times together. I say enough. They've played enough times this season. They know how to kind of play with each other. And you've got Tierney, the experienced Tierney. You've got Saka to give us a bit defensively. Keen to see movement between the front three, people. But I think regardless of the result, it's a big call not to play David Luiz or start David Luiz. Again, he might very well start against United and Spurs and all the big games to come. But at the same time, it's a big call because, again, Luiz is a leader. But in an ideal world, it might be a short-term pain for long-term gain to move away from Luiz. We're not going to be here he's not going to be here for the future. We all know he has goes through bouts of good form and can be a bit shaky. But, it's a time to kind of blood Gabriel, Holding might be here based on his way he's playing for the foreseeable future. You got to blood these in games. And the more we kind of move away from relying on David Luiz, as much as you can say that, the better we do we mold long term. And it's a shame that Arteta doesn't see that Saliba is potentially ready, not criticising that, because it would have been an even better opportunity to get our two young centre-halves and an X-man in. Holding can be a bit suspect, as I can see in the comments, but to be fair with you, he hasn't really warranted being dropped this season, and I actually like him as a player. I think he can do the squad stuff. As regards to if he wants to be a regular, he needs to go and prove that. But I think regardless of the result in particular, that is